Welcome to Suna Island. Where you can stop and relax. For the rest of your life.
Do you want to now take a short rest to try to recoup some of this health?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't lose any health, but yeah, sure.
So you've taken so during your during a rest at this orchard, you're just gonna finish eating your apples. You're gonna be able to grab a couple more apples, so you just restock.
Can you hide the head while we're resting?
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll a survival or nature.
That would be a 10.
10. Okay. So you just kind of bury it on the outskirts of this orchard where the trees have been cut back to, where this jungle kind of stops.
Okay.
You find that there's a pretty noticeable looking tree. There's like a small rock formation by it. So you just kind of bury the skull there. Does the skull still have the beak on it? Or are you harvesting the beak? Okay, so just the full skull and beak.
I'm actually going to use the beak to dig the hole.
Just grab the spine and just start shoveling it out. You have been traveling at a stealthy pace, which means you're traveling at half speed. You've traveled for 4 hours, and you don't know how much farther you have. Do you want to keep up this stealthy pace, or do you want to just start to take a normal walk?
I'm not even gonna taunt them. I'm just gonna start walking normally.
I mean, as far as I know, I don't think we have a time limit.
I'm gonna be as stealthy as I can, just sort of naturally. I'm not necessarily gonna slow them down, but I have that thing where I can, because I'm a wood elf,
The Mask of the Wild.
Yeah, that I can be.
I think stealth has been our friend so far.
So it's a matter of pace. Half pace, you're going to be doubling whatever time it takes.
But lessening the risk.
But lessening the risk indeed.
That's what I like.
So I'm just, 15 feet in front of them at all times now?
I put my tree costume back on.
I can't wait till we find his dead body 15 minutes ahead of us.
We should know that you should watch out for something.
That means he left us alone together.
You don't want me interrupting whatever this is with my childlike innocence.
Okay, so if you're moving stealthily, go ahead and roll me a stealth check. If you're moving at the regular pace, you're fine. You will eventually outpace them and be alone, if that is what you want to do. Though you are twice, you will get to the destination twice as quickly. There is a chance that you might make it all the way to the location completely unmolested.
Why did you have to go with the word molested?
It's
there?
the proper term.
It's
exactly what would happen. You might go completely unmolested, or
you could get molested.
you could get molested.
This is really uncomfortable considering this character is 14.
Look.
You know what? Yeah, I will stay behind and put my tree costume on.
Okay, go ahead
totally
and roll.
cockwalk Addy, and that's fine.
You all grab your gear, your Metal Gear Solid toys, and you just begin to very slowly walk. Early afternoon.
We're off the path, right?
You're walking off of the path, but you're following the path.
'Cause
you've been following a small creek south, as you believe fresh water will eventually lead you to civilization. And the path you're walking adjacent to now, does seem well-traveled, so something does come back and forth this way on a frequent basis. So as you move a little bit more, you're coming around about noon. As you're traveling on the side of this road, you do start hearing what sounds like footsteps and the mild chatter of a group of people coming along. Do you want to walk out to the road to greet them?
Hello, we are bush people.
Present the Bush People Guild.
Roll me a stealth check just as you plant yourselves.
With advantage?
Yes. Now remember, you do have your hero points that you can use On just about anything.
That's
It's
pretty good.
not that dire, I'm just saying.
Unless it is.
No.
We're
no.
gonna find out pretty soon.
All right, what do these stealth checks look like? Theo?
16.
Zale?
21.
22.
I'm using my acting classes I took while back home.
It was just like
Just
a
like-
scene from a chorus line. Be a bush.
Everyone squats down and gets a good view of the road. And you see walking past, there is a very scratched together kind of wagon. It's just got a small seat in the back with just some roughly built together out of heavy twigs, a little bit of vines that kind of makes a small gate. It's got some things in there. You hear it rattling around. Occasionally things fall out. And you see probably about 4 people walking with it. They're wearing scrap clothing. You see one of them is actually wearing just armor that seems to be pieced together from other pieces of armor. But everyone else is wearing what looks like hide skins and maybe tree bark to kind of cover more of their significant places. They seem to be armed with roughly clubs and maybe even slingshots. And they're largely just laughing. One takes a little more serious than other and pushes him. The guy does come back and shoves him to the ground, but then you see the larger guy who has the scrapped together leather armor. He just steps down from this wagon that he's standing on top of and just kicks one of them in the shoulder, shoving him to the ground. He says, "There, you're both on the ground now. Pick your stupid asses up and walk." And that just kind of silences everybody. And
I'm gonna step out from the bush.
excellent.
Gentlemen,
Everyone turns around. Are you lost?
more or less, I'm looking for Adella's Rest.
Oh, Adella's Rest, of course, of course. Well, lucky day. We'd be happy to not only direct you, but give you a ride.
May I ask your name first, sir?
No, sir will work. He's going to reach out and he's going to try and grab your hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna not have stranger danger happen.
All right, then you better roll for it. He's going to try and grapple you.
Acrobatics work?
Acrobatics will be fine.
Me. That's a nat 1.
Mark that
You
in.
did not beat my 2. He is going to grab your wrist and he's going to pull you very close to him.
Getting molested.
Yeah.
And he's kissing.
Now you know what a is.
He even told you to call him sir.
Yeah, I should have seen this coming.
One of the other guys is going to come up into this back of this cage. He's actually going to open the back of it. And
Am I about to be sold into
with your
child's-
wrist in his hand, he's going to reach down to the back of you and grab the back of your britches.
Can I,
And he's going to pick you up and turn you horizontal.
yeah, firebolt.
Who or what do you want to firebolt?
Who's holding me?
The cage is wood, just to clarify.
Yeah, the whole thing is made out of like
Oh, then you know
sticks and
what?
branches.
I'm gonna cast it on that.
Okay.
Burning thing that he's gonna
Just
throw you into.
don't roll a 1.
Man. That's the famous last words.
I have to pull something one step.
I like the Hattie and Zale are like, nope, in the bush.
Well, why?
I had a plan until it became all molestery.
What did you think they were going to do?
He's acting in character for a 14-year-old,
Well,
alright?
Well, hold on. Before you throw this, it would be difficult, but you can still talk your way out of this.
I really can't, though.
Okay. All right, that's all right. I mean, all right.
Oh, it's not a 1.
Okay. So then you're able to just kind of lift your hand, grip in one, palm open the other, and a firebolt slams against the cart. Go ahead and roll damage, and if you roll high enough, we'll say 3 or higher, just on the dice, lighting the cart on fire.
5.
Your firebolt explodes against the back of this cart, destroying what strangely roped together axle it has. It breaks in and the entire cart begins to burn. And everyone is just like, no! And the guy's like, well, You're burning with it, and he is going to throw you under the cart to the burning axle.
Can I acrobatics out of that?
I'd like to cast grease.
We will do. This was the plan, right? We will do an opposed athletics to acrobatics.
5.
You kick your legs the very best you can. You swing your arms like a cartoon, and you just boom hit the dirt. Your mouth fills full of it until the sun eventually disappears, and all you can feel is fire tickling the back of your neck.
Can I scramble out of this?
Let's see what everyone else is doing. Zale, Addie, contributions. Let them go.
You can point out I've saved both of your lives at this point.
I think we're just
we
looking.
saved yours too.
Yeah,
Or
but
even Steven.
I think we're just looking at each other now, like. I'm going to prepare an action to Ray of Frost if he can't put it out himself,
Zale.
or if he can't get out.
Prepare an action, which I have told you about.
Let me go.
I don't want to reveal myself if he gets out of this just fine by himself, you know.
You'll do that if what happens?
If things start to really go tits up.
I am under
Excellent.
a burning carriage.
Excellent.
He's like, the tits are up! They're already up!
They are pointing up. They are erect.
They're down, actually, if we're being literal.
This is like some perky shit going on. Help me out here. Jesus.
All right, so one of the 4 guys, they're upset that the cart went up, but there is this moment of realization for them that they can't save the cart now. They don't have the means. One of them is going to take this tree branch of a club, and he is going to try and slam it down so that the cart breaks and falls on top of Theo. He takes his club, and he just slams it down through this cage, shattering it, and whatever's inside, you hear just either break, bends, or move to the side, and you hear a big...
Are there other people in the cart, like in the cage?
I was
Nope.
wondering.
Nope. This cage doesn't actually look like it should fit a person.
Okay.
So I'm dead.
Underneath, kind of looking over your shoulder, you see this already burning axle just crack like this, though it has not completely fallen on you yet.
Jesus Christ.
Do a barrel roll.
Does this trigger your action?
It hasn't been his turn in initiative yet. I want to see what he can do.
Does this
before
trigger your action, Zale?
Sure.
Okay, so go ahead and do as you will.
I'm going to try and roll out.
Okay,
Autobots.
so an acrobatics check would seem correct to try and slim out from underneath of this.
10.
You're able to just start kind of pushing with your forearms, pushing you back, kind of crawling the back to the best you can. You are able to kind of push yourself out, and as you try to pick yourself up, you just get up on your knee and you look at this cart that's now the fire starting to build up to it, and you just feel 2 hands just right on your shoulders.
Fantastic.
And he looks to you and says, "Oh, you're gonna pay for that." And as his hands kind of squeeze on your shoulders, everything goes white. Like, not just for you, but just this whole area goes white. Filled with this dense fog. This could be a chance for you to slip away. Because when this happens, you feel his hands quickly release from you, thinking you might have done this. He's inevitably drawing a weapon. What do you want to do now?
I'm going to dive back into the shrubbery.
I thought you were going to say the cart.
I dive back under the cart. It's safer under here.
They'll never find me.
They're kind of blind right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
So, yeah, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Someone likes you more than us.
God! 6.
Do you have advantage because of whatever's going on?
No, because the
Okay.
disadvantage was going to be trying to hide from them in plain
Sure.
sight. This just kind of...
I'm so
I
dead.
like that you rolled in her dice box.
You just kind of, from your knees, you just pick one leg up and you just dive to the left through just pure whiteness. As you're in midair, you just plunk and you just hit a shoulder into the tree and you just loud and ah! And you hear, "He's still around! It must have been him!"
Can I run forward and grab him? And can I try to... I will not run, but like, can I move towards that sound
Try to
quietly
catch
and like, yoink?
So starting off the top of this combat is going to be at a natural 20, Theo.
Okay, I'm going to cast Earth Tremor
Okay.
on the ground. It's a 10-foot radius, so I cast it in the middle of them. To, They must each make a dexterity saving throw. They need to beat a 12, because I'm rolling like shit
He needs
today.
more space because he just threw.
Alright, so all of the goons, 12, 3,
All the chocolate.
11, and 4.
Okay, well, they all take 1d6 bludgeoning damage. Who failed take 1d6 bludgeoning damage, which is a 4. No, and there's more to the spell.
Well, hold on, and then the big boss passes.
Okay, and now the earth around it, because I'm assuming it's just dirt, and
Yes.
it is now difficult terrain. So, I guess in game, I kind of like I kind of swish the cape around me, and the ground just because I had my signet ring, I could like Green Lantern this shit. Instead, I swish my cape around like you, I'm assuming, with a cape.
You swish your cape over your body, and then from where that cape is swished up, a line just boom fills underneath in this area, and the ground just begins to pick up and turn into mud. And then you just start rolling away.
Yes.
You run 15 feet into this jungle. Zale, what would you like to do?
I mean, can I go towards him and see if I can find him? How far away is he?
He's moved into the jungle.
So I can see him now.
You can see him.
Can I grab him and like start pulling him along so we can get out of here?
As a group, do you want to make this a tactical retreat?
What do you mean by tactical?
I mean, like we run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it seems like the best option right now.
Yeah, like you just want to bail out on. You just want to bail
Either
from
that,
this.
or we get some sweet armor.
I will fully admit, my bad, guys. In character, I even say my bad. I thought it would work like one of my books. I'm sorry. Do we want to take them out? Because they know where we're going.
They don't. You told them?
Yes.
Yeah. He asked where Adella's rest was.
Well, then we probably should.
I will make it up to both of you.
Oh, trust me. You're gonna.
So then, I was planning on running away. Can we go to the swamp then instead?
It's on the other side of the island. You can absolutely.
Let's go
You have to go over a mountain.
Or we could go to Adella's rest and get the armor there.
We still have to take care of these guys because they're gonna come after us.
Okay.
Or they're gonna come after me and you by proxy.
Worst come to worst.
Worst comes to worst, they'll come after you.
I'm gonna quietly go to a tree close to the fog cloud.
Okay.
Hide behind it and ready in action to attack like the first person. Especially if I know like vaguely where the big bad guy was. And I'm gonna aim for the legs and try to knock him over too. Since that seems to be.
He comes around the corner, and what weapon do you have?
I just have the short sword, but I just use like the flat of the blade and just swing at it at his ankles, like Abby Gilmore style.
When he walks past, you take that short sword and you slam it against his Achilles, and he just falls straight down to the ground. That is going to go to another one of the guards. He's going to hear this. He sees that you have a weapon, and you've just knocked down. So he's going to take a shot at you with his slingshot. A rock comes flying past you. Another guard is going to come running out after hearing this exchange. He sees his buddy aiming at you, and he's going to take a shot at Theo. A rock zings out and just kind of like hits you in the neck. It stings. Like, ow, shit, what the fuck? Addie, you are pretty well hidden right now.
Yep, yes I am.
Anything else? Do you want to re-up that stealth? Looks like they've got it.
Well, if the point is to save the armor. How far away is Zale from me?
15 feet.
Alright. I'm gonna try to go for this patchwork leather guy, because he's prone, right?
Yes.
So I get advantage?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to stab him with my sticks.
Okay. Remember, you take the D4.
Uh-huh. That would be 21.
God, you impale this with like a wooden stick.
Alright, so that's 3 damage for me. And him. Plus 9.
So 12.
Total for him 12. Yeah.
As he's on the ground, you just take your wooden stick and you slam it down. He raises one of his arms to try and catch your wrist. He does, but just enough force coming down, you're able to just get it into the armor, and your hand slides down. A little bit of blood drips down onto his wrist. And that is going to go to... another goon is out on this other side to the right, and this last goon is coming out the back.
Okay.
And he's going to take a shot. But because the two of you are kind of sharing cover with this tree, you're going to have an additional 2 to your AC.
Okay.
So he's going to take a shot at Addie, or an 11.
Will not hit.
The rock zoom, zims by. That is going to go back up to Theo. We're going to put you 15 feet out. A rock has just been flown past you. You see that the skirmish is beginning right upside this fog cloud.
Who's the guy who hit me? Can I see him?
Yes.
I want to, Ray of Frost, that guy.
Okay.
Ooh, I actually have to make a spell. Oh, crap, I have to make a spell attack.
Make a spell attack. Like, what's the worst you can do? Burn down the cart?
14.
14's gonna hit?
He takes 7 damage, and his speed is reduced by 10 feet.
What's it look like when you freeze this guy to death?
I did.
Yep.
So again, I first go to, like, throw my hand out, realize that I have the cape and not my ring. So I switch my cape.
I love how flamboyant this is becoming.
Oh, it's gonna get worse. Remember, I imagine everything is like a book, so in
Very grand. Every gesture is grand and heroic.
Okay, you know what I do? I grab both sides of the cape and I'm just like... and Frost comes shooting out from the corners of my cape.
I like this guy better now.
And strike him directly in the neck. Just encasing. And then he falls backwards from the shock of being hit by the...
And it just shatters.
Yes.
No. I was going to say he suffocates because his neck won't.
No, he got decapitated. I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Decapitation by freezer burn. Anything else on your turn?
Kind of smirk.
Feel good about that? That's fair.
And then turn and, like... Not actually join the conflict, but
Okay.
turn to watch the conflict to see if I can help out at some time.
So you have a guy to the right to about 10 feet. He fired a rock at you. You have a guy down in front of you. He's wearing the patchwork armor. He took a swing at you, but he is currently just pushed Addie's arm off of him, pulling that wood out of his chest. You see a good amount of blood is coming up.
I'm going to get the guy right in front of me.
He's got the nicest armor.
He's
Yes.
prone.
So, 21. 7.
You take the short sword, and as you go to bring it down, he quickly tries to move his arm in front of his neck. When he does, he unfortunately brings his kind of bottom part of his forearm down, and you just drag it across his wrist, and it just opens.
And then I'm going to duck into the fog.
That will incur attack of opportunity from him.
Bro, you got disadvantage.
I don't give a shit. Been rolling boogers all day. A natural 20 and a 6.
Man, I can't even count that natural.
So I
20
duck
'cause it
into the
didn't
fog
count.
and then I'm gonna duck. I mean, try and be as hidden as I can in the fog.
You slam that sword down on him, and when you step back, he just flails this branch at you, and you just very calmly, looking him in the eyes, step back into the fog. It is unsettling for everyone
I just
involved.
Which, to be
Imagine
fair,
the-
is a lot cooler than what she just did.
The Avatar, the water tribe. Out.
That is going to go to the boss, who is going to pick himself up, and he's going to take a swing at Addie.
What's he hitting me with?
A 2.
Jacket shit is what he's hitting me with.
Well, it's because he's swinging, but his wrist hurts.
That was bad news bears for him.
Yep, he tried to hit me, didn't do shit. But what is he trying to hit me with?
He has a very large branch. When you think back to yesterday when you had broke those branches down, there was a pretty big one that I'd said, if you had enough strength, you could wield that. This is about 3/4 the size of that.
Okay.
So what, he's Little John?
I mean,
We're killing Robin Hood, guys.
you're basically killing Robin Hood and his merry men.
Hey, if Robin Hood's trying to stuff kids into the back of the van, we're done with this.
This ain't Robin Hood. All right.
It's just the rest of the merry men that kind of went off track after Robin left.
That's what makes them merry.
With that, this is going to be the goon who was firing rocks at you. Zale, how ballsy is this guy?
Answer.
Do it.
Nothing will ever happen.
15 to 20, he gets ballsy.
He grows up hair.
16.
He grows up hair.
Yes.
And you guys win. Moving forward, game over. Fight over. He's going to step in the fog cloud. You don't really know what's going on out there, but you do hear muddy footsteps coming your way. And you hear what sounds like something swing in the clack. So you get the sense that he's nearby, but has mistaken you.
He thinks I'm a cart, you guys.
That is going to go to Addie.
Alright. I don't have advantage against this guy anymore, right?
No.
Alright. Then I'm gonna try to two-handed swing this claw at this guy.
Make an attack.
So these guys are wielding slingshots and tree branches.
Yes.
Okay.
That is... I actually realize I'm not proficient with that, so it'll just be 19.
That's fine. Oh, that definitely hits.
Alright, two-handed swing, so that'll be a d10. Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
then that would just be 9 then.
Yeah. Anything else on your turn? You have a bonus action and movement.
That is true. What?
Rip him open from throat to taint.
Man, that'll ruin the armor.
No, you already killed him. Oh, did you guys kill?
No,
No,
this
this
is
is-
Patchwork guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then don't rip him open from side to
I
side
want
to
to
side
clarify,
to
I'm mostly aiming for facial area.
Understood, yeah. I understand you guys are trying to protect this armor the best you can.
I don't care if it's bloody, I just don't want it damaged. No, I'm gonna stay in it.
That is going to go to the guard who was down into the back. He sees you take this claw at the end of a bone. You just fucking swing that across. It catches across his face, and those talons just rip open the side of his face. Tears it up. There's just teeth showing out the side. He's going to run over to try and aid his boss.
Fuck your face.
He's going to pull out his stick, and he's going to flank you. So that is going to hit. That is a 19.
Yeah, that'll definitely hit. Just barely though.
5 points of damage.
Okay.
That is going to go back up to Theo.
I'm gonna use Ray of Frost on the guy in charge, aiming specifically for the ripped open portion of his face. Because you know what sounds really unpleasant for him? Ice in there.
I was gonna say lemon juice.
Reduce the swelling. Freeze your gums. He's going to have a... If he kills you guys, he's going to have a brain freeze.
He's gonna die from blood loss regardless. We could probably just leave him.
He'll just
here.
rub some dirt in it. It'll be alright.
I'm more like the wrist too, and the
Just
giant
rub some
wound
dirt in it.
in the chest.
That's gross.
He'll hold them together.
He's like walking.
He'll hold
through,
him
like,
You just go over to the cart and cauterize the wound.
Yeah, right.
This is
Just
really
hold it. Guys, I'm getting really dizzy.
after we turned him into Two-Face.
Oh. Oh, they run away now. Ooh. All right, go make your attack.
7.
You swish your cape theatrically. The ice extends forward, but it crosses and it misses everyone involved. Movement and bonus action.
Backwards flip of my cape. And I kind of like...
It was one fluid mode. He grabbed the ends, he grabbed it, and then just and covered himself. And then when he seen it missed, he just starts backpedaling. So 30 feet away. Do you want to be 45 feet away from the action? You're gonna start getting kind of into denser wood. It'll be harder for you to see.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Yes.
I'm just gonna stay where I am.
Okay.
But I'm gonna flip my cape dramatically and just kind of like... I like Carmen Sandiego that shit, you know what I mean? Look, it's just covering my face now.
Zale.
What I really want you to do is like wrap the cape around yourself and back into the mist. I know you're nowhere near it. That's what I want to have happen. Okay, I'm gonna go by where I heard him, and I'm gonna hit him.
Okay, you will do so with disadvantage.
Okay.
Wait, if they're both in the mist, can't you see him in the mist?
No.
I can see them in the mist.
I do a perception check, but that would take my turn, wouldn't it? To really kind of look for him.
You already know where he's at. The perception check isn't going to get you any more than
So
you
just
have now.
disadvantage.
Yeah. Do you want a calculator?
13?
13, that'll hit.
Okay.
Jeez, that was sassy.
It's like 2 dice!
I know.
Again, you fried from the week. That's all right. So you take a couple careful steps forward, and as you see this smoldering cart as it begins to come into view, you see this shadow just kind of moving, preparing for another attack, and you just take a calculated swing into the darkness. You feel resistance for just a moment, and that resistance gives way. And then part of that shadow rolls off to the side, and the greater part of the shadow falls.
Would you lop his head off?
Apparently.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't see anything.
Okay.
Okay.
For a second, I was afraid you were gonna kill the caster of the fog, and it would just dissipate.
Yeah, we do need to figure out who casted the fog.
Anything else on your turn?
I mean, can I... He's the only one that's in there with me.
Yes.
I'm going to head towards the edge of the fog where all the rest of the fighting is, but not come out of it.
With the rest of your movement, you can get out of the fog.
Okay.
This is going to be the guard who was firing at you. He is going to look over to his friend who fell on the ground with his neck exploded. He's going to decide that the range game didn't do well for him. So he's going to move 15 feet. He's going to pull out his tree branch and he's going to try and swing on you, Theo. That is going to be a 14.
Yeah.
That is going to be 4 points of damage.
Okay.
That is going to go to the patchwork boss, who is bleeding in a lot of very unique places. He is going to try and...
How is he still standing?
I just want to know if he understands that we're trying not to injure his armor. That's why we're hitting him in weird places.
I attack his pinky.
and he says, "You want this?" And he rips his armor. It's too early for you to have this armor.
At that point, we just gang up on him.
He is just going to take this club 2 hands, and he is just going to try and slam it down on your head, Addie. He has flanking. That will hit for 19. Man, not much. 4 points of damage. As this comes down, you're able to duck out of the way, but it kind of bounces off the end of your shoulder and slides down, giving you some nasty boo-boos. It is your turn to retaliate.
Okay. Considering doing something horribly dumb.
Go on.
Let me ponder it for a second.
Like I said before, the rule of cool is most important here, and if you can dream something big, I'll reward it with big damage.
Oh, I was gonna cast Grease where I am and try to catch the guys flanking me and like fall to the ground and roll out. Because I have disengage as a bonus.
So you want to cast Grease on the ground,
Yes.
and then you want to just roll out of the way?
Yeah. Which, you know, I realize would kind of, well, if I did it how I imagined in my head, where it's just rolling on the ground to get out, it would make me prone. But it would get me far enough away because I have disengage.
We'll say you tumble. So you cast Grease on the ground around you.
Yep.
Do they need to make saves on right now or on the start of their turns?
When the grease appears.
Okay. You are in that.
I know.
Excellent.
Dex saving throw. Okay.
But don't worry. They fail.
It's a 14.
Yeah. Not even close.
Yo.
Excellent.
And I got a 23.
So I know how I want this casting of Grease to go. Why don't you tell us how the casting of Grease goes?
You ever watch King of the Hill where he's like, pocket sand?
Yes.
That's kind of what I imagine, just grease! And then roll out.
You just reach into your pockets, you pull your pockets out completely, and grease pours out of your...
Or should it just be like the hair
Oh, I was
slick?
gonna say, no, we said canonically it's you just run your hands through your hair and throw it on the ground in a bunch of grease. I was gonna say you just shit grease. They instantly fall.
I was imagining the like flick of the fingers to get all the grease off. Like,
you're able to steady yourself on your own spell, and you just kind of leap out of there. You have your movement now if you want. You can move to actually flank with Theo.
Who's he flanking? Is that the other guy?
He's being attacked by another guy.
Okay.
I
I know you do. I'm gonna go flank to give him advantage.
Okay. Alright. That is going to go to the guard who is prone. He is going to try and stand up. Which is, he has to do the save again, right?
Yes, which was 14.
14. 13. He falls back down. He is going to try and take a shot at you with his slingshot. He will do so at disadvantage as he can't get a solid ground underneath of him. That is 13.
To hit?
Yeah.
Meets beats.
Alright. 4 points of damage.
Alright.
Theo?
So I've got one dude in front of me who's attacking me.
And you have Addie behind him.
Okay, what does he look like? Are there any open wounds on him anywhere?
You don't see any physical wounds. You see that a lot of mud is up to his knees. You get the idea that he was probably affected by the initial earth tremor.
You know what I'm gonna do?
What's that?
But if you cast Fireball on those guys and set them on fire, I'd have flanking to do...
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna cast Firebolt on the grease under the other two guys.
They are prone.
Yeah. I'm aiming for the grease.
Roll the attack.
That's a 10. Wait a sec, it's
Don't you add your...
Plus a D4,
D4.
plus your intelligence.
D4 do.
That's
Proficiency.
it's a 12.
I have not been rolling my proficiency.
Well, neither have I, which is an issue.
That's your spell attack bonus.
You kind of lean over from this guy who you find this opportunity. He turns back and he sees Addie behind him. When he does, you quickly turn over and you just kind of like wave your cape a little bit and fire flies out of it, strikes the grease. And go ahead and roll 1d6. They will both take this damage. 2. All right.
I like that that's our wombo combo, though. It's always Addie setting stuff in grease.
Burn. Zale, you've just stepped out of the fog.
Well, I will, yeah, on my turn. And so I step out of the fog and I see what.
To the left of you where you're standing, you see that the patchwork armor boss and his goon buddy, they're just kind of like slapping the ground, trying to pick themselves up as they burn. About 15, like 10 feet. And then 15 feet away from you towards the woods, you see one guy quickly turning around, very nervously holding a club above his head, where the spellcaster who froze and broke his friend's neck, and the guy who stabbed the dog shit out of his boss, is pretty much surrounding him.
I want that armor. I'm gonna go after the patchwork
Okay.
guy. And you said 15 feet away, so I can do 15 feet.
He's 10 feet away. They're
10
15 feet
into-
away.
10 feet,
Into
so,
a
so I
fire?
can do 10 feet away, and then I can duck back into the...
To get within melee, you are going into the grease fire.
Do you have a water spell?
I don't have...
Shit.
Do I have fog? Like, do I have condensation on the buckler?
Sure.
I'm gonna try it. Can I do that and cast Create Water?
Roll a religion check. As you try and full metal alchemist this. It's what you did last time on the beach.
4. Okay. Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. That is actually going to take your turn as casting.
Okay.
That'll be your action to cast.
I'm back into the fog and hide.
The guard surrounding the two of you is going to very nervously choose evens, odds. Evens.
No, of course it is.
Man, I'm... Ready for this one? The good news is, I've been rolling 2s all night. 15.
I was gonna say, this is when you nat 20s.
Yeah.
4 points of damage.
I'm gonna need some healing after this.
As he sincerely bonks you with his club.
Fight these guys.
I'm gonna, wait, I've got that fruit.
Yeah, you have the heal fruit.
I do have the heal fruit.
He bonks you with this club pretty good. The boss is going to... How big is this grease?
It's a 10-foot cone, so it was literally just the guys.
Alright, 10 foot, alright.
Yeah, it was literally just the guys around me. I said, fuck
Here's what
y'all.
the boss is going to do. The boss is going to grab onto his buddy, slide him forward
Oh.
to him. He's going to get up. He's going to get up on his knees, and he's going to put his legs against the tree. He's going to pull himself up top of his buddy and kick forward.
He just uses the other guy to stand on.
No, he's using him as a grease sled.
Yep.
This guy, specifically this other goon, is going to take an extra D4 damage as he is horribly abused by this guy. As he slides across burning rocks, fire, and grease. This is going to get both of them to the end of the grease and him onto stable ground.
But he's still on fire.
Oh, he's still on fire. He's still on fire, but the important thing is
He's out of the grease.
he's 10 feet, half his movement to get up, with 15 feet of movement, 10 feet, which is exactly how much he needs to get to Addie. He's on fire, so this attack will have disadvantage, and he's going to try and wallop you with this.
With a flaming club.
15.
Damn it, that'll hit.
5 points of damage.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Still in it. I'm still in it.
All right, Addie, you have your turn.
Alright. So, how he moved around the one guy to avoid attack from opportunity. I'm using my bonus action to disengage from the patchwork guy.
Okay.
And slide my way around, again, around this guy so I can still attack him with advantage.
Okay.
Because I got flanking.
Excellent. That's a great call.
Oh, I'm gonna have some fun with the patchwork, guys.
I'm just, alright, bye.
Don't destroy the armor.
I was going down, I'm sorry.
Alright. So, first hit is 23, but I got advantage. So let's see if I can hit 20. No, I can't. But it'll still go. Alright. And since I'm trying to do sneak attack, I'm going to use my daggers, so I know I'm going to take my 3. Sorry, the 2 6s.
Ooh. Boxcars.
So, I took 2 damage.
Okay.
And he takes
14.
17.
17?
How's he die?
He gets stabbed.
So you just take this wooden stake, you jam it in his back so hard. There is a moment of resistance, but you just strengthen your resolve until you hear a bone crack, and he just goes limp.
Can I use him as a human shield now? Just grab his limp body and, like, from the patchwork guy? So I have some cover.
Give me a strength check.
Okay. 15.
You're holding him up. You're going to have an additional 5 to your AC.
I'm gonna weekend at Bernie's this.
I slap him.
The guard who's on the ground, he's actually going to take his turn putting himself out. Though that's his turn. So, give me first, just roll a d6 and a d4. Roll them together.
5.
5 total?
Yeah.
Alright, so what was the 6?
The 1.
Was a 1? It is, right now, by you is the boss
Mm-hmm. And the other guy, right?
and the other guy.
I'm gonna step so that he's sorted to my Addie's sorted to my side.
Okay.
And I'm gonna Thunderwave cube them back into the fire.
Alright.
Yeah, I like it.
Constitution save, they have to beat a
Boss beats it 19.
15.
Goon does not.
So he's launched back into the fire that he
Yep.
just put himself out of.
Go ahead and roll damage. Boss takes half.
11.
Pretty much you just hear a cracking noise as he goes limp ragdoll back.
Into the flame.
And the boss just bunkers down, but you hear that sickening crack on him too, and he just begins to stumble back a little bit, using his large branch as kind of a way to prop himself up. He not looking good. Anything else in your turn?
I'm okay with that.
Zale,
I just launched a corpse into a flaming.
a lot of stuff has
fire.
happened.
Far away are the
15
enemies
feet.
left. 15 feet.
And it's just the boss who's holding himself up on fire.
Okay, I'm gonna go at that guy. 19. 5.
You just run up behind him and just
I aim at his neck, yeah.
take his head right off.
How's the armor?
Burn to a crisp.
I'm not the one who called for that plan. I'm not the one who set the grease.
I was gonna die, so.
That's reasonable.
But the guy I'm holding was never on fire, so his armor's
Yeah,
fine.
but his armor's bark.
Yeah.
It's still better than
Can I loot the
something.
body? Can I loot the body?
The boss's body, it looked like there was some stuff on him. It all burned. The other guy, burned.
The things we lost in the fire.
Everyone else, they didn't have anything on them.
What about the slingshots?
You can take 3 slingshots and 3 big sticks and 1 really big stick.
Okay, yeah,
So-
the really big stick I can't do, but if I'm simple weapons, slingshot is a simple weapon.
I believe so. Yes, it is.
Big
Ooh, probably
stick.
one of those too.
What would you like in that too?
Okay, yeah, because there were 2
club.
slingshots at least.
Okay. Nice checking.
So, I'm
So
gonna
we each
give
have a
myself
slingshot.
New.
I believe a slingshot a wizard can use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
simple
we each
weapon.
have
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I'll take a slingshot.
Melee.
You now have ranged weapons.
Ranged.
Does anyone have healing spells?
We can make camp.
Yeah, do you want to just do that?
I don't feel like you can take another long rest. If you take another long rest, you're going to have to sit for longer because you can't take more than 1 long rest in 24 hours.
Let's just keep going. We'll be next time. Don't go out and say hi.
Keep going. A bird craps on my shoulder and I die.
Do you have any hit die left?
oh yeah. We can do a short rest.
If you want to take a short rest and
I
take
never-
that last hit die, if you have any left,
I still
you can
have
do
all
that.
of them.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
that's
do you want?
happening.
So you want to
Yeah.
take that short rest? Take the short rest.
Jesus.
Sweet. I'm not up to full health, but I'm not at 7 anymore.
Any health will truly do at this point.
Man. Ain't that...
Added your cons.
Yep.
Oh, see? I didn't do that. So that's
Each one.
that's
one.
better. Okay.
Yes.
Used all my vitamin.
I am at exactly half health.
So we rest for an hour and keep going then.
So it's 1 o'clock now.
Yes.
You have no idea how far civilization is going to be from here. Do you want to continue in stealth?
At this point, it might just be better to walk along the road. Someone else can talk.
Okay.
We could stealth and nobody could
No
talk.
talk. Yes. Did your mother never tell you to not talk to strangers?
No. His mother did not.
My mother's dead.
Well, obviously she's not doing a good job of telling you not to talk to strangers then.
We stealth. We're going to stealth, and we're not going on the road. You're not talking to anybody unless we say it's okay.
If you need a permission slip.
Do you have a pass to be walking out in the path? A pass.
Just assume if guys are beating the crap out of each other, they're not going to treat us any better.
These
How
guys
about
are
that?
all in the prison, and surprisingly enough, you two are not jerks, but most people in prison are jerks. Why are you guys even... Like, why were you arrested?
Because I am a jerk, so she's 100% right.
I was captured on a ship I boarded passage on.
Oh.
I haven't done anything.
Well, then why'd you get thrown in jail?
Again, captured aboard a prison, aboard a ship.
That is pretty fucked up. You said you were like 14, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had it. The last few weeks haven't been easy for me.
Yeah, I've
Captured by
noticed that.
who?
Whoever runs the goddamn prison we just were in. The fuck do I know? One minute I'm on a ship, the next minute I'm waking up in a cell.
Okay, so we're stealthing, is what we're saying here, because most people are not 14-year-old people. They're, like, angry adults.
Theo, you gotta understand, a lot of people suck, and we're not gonna want to talk to a lot of them. Just keep that wise gem of wisdom in mind.
Yeah, fine. I thought they might have been citizens of the city and they could have told us where it was.
No, okay, we're never going to assume that ever again, okay?
Okay.
No, we
who
don't need to
live-
be condescending about it.
I'm not being condescending, I'm being persuasive.
You're being patronizing.
People who live in cities that we'll actually want to go to don't look like bark hobos, okay? Let's never talk to people in shitty ass wagons that are pushing each other on the ground ever
I thought
again.
they could have been traitors.
They're not
They
very
did not
good
look
if they
like
didn't have shit
traitors.
in there.
They did not look like traitors. What were they trading?
Apparently human children.
Exactly.
Not the
My
market
point,
we want to be
exactly.
in.
Here we go, stealth.
Roll me stealth checks with advantage.
We still have the costumes after all that?
Yeah, it's not like you took fire damage or
We
anything.
were never on fire.
13.
11.
Soft 20.
2 more hours pass. From this squat duck walking, this careful step across the road, you continue to follow this creek down. And in the distance, you can start hearing people talk. You hear the calm sound of civilization. And if you were to just kind of peer out, you could see where the jungle actually thins out. Going over some hills is a wide grassland. And you see that there is a large settlement not too far in the distance. You might believe you found Adella's Rest.
Should we go there?
I say we wait.
Let's see what's going on there first. I agree, yes.
We're just going to assume from this point on that everyone's going to hurt us until we discover otherwise.
When I said nobody comes from a town we want to go to that looks like that, this is the town that we didn't want to go to.
This is exactly the town you spoke of.
You guys don't know this yet, but this is a giant culture shock.
It's Bark Hobo Town. Woo!
I've never met a Bark Hobo before this
We have
moment.
now, intimately.
What you're able to see from this distance is this town. You see it's not very big, but you see a lot of people are moving about it. It's pretty dense for the size that it is. Looking down, it looks like there's too many people for the amount of shelters provided. You're about a mile out. It's just grasslands. There's no longer trees or anything.
Or how high is the grass?
The grass is fairly high.
Trying
Yeah,
to weigh
you do.
risk and
I'm
reward
gonna give
here.
Addie a pat in the back.
Do it for me.
God, I'm already regretting the last thing I did for you.
Not me, her. Do it for her.
What do I get out of it?
Throw over that flirty wink.
Elf.
Yeah, you got
Throw
elf
over that
eyes.
haughty wink.
It's fine. What do your elf eyes see?
What do my elf eyes see?
A bunch of ants moving around an ant colony. That's about as big as it is from here.
All grass? Could I somehow modify my tree thing to be grass thing? Like, add some grass?
It would require you breaking it down to nothing and then rebuilding a new one.
Okay.
Or you could just make another costume.
There's nothing around, no materials to make another one, right?
You could try and grab some of like the wheat, whatever's growing around you, but what it comes down to is that there is going to be like a quarter mile of just nothing, just wide open
that's
area
not even worth it.
that you're going to have to walk through.
Thing that can, like, make the invisible, do you?
Not that kind of wizard.
No.
I have disguise self, but it doesn't help with invisible. We don't know if they were friends of them.
Yeah, at this point, I think our best option is literally just to walk in.
Go ahead.
If they're trying to kidnap children, you know. I
Yeah, but
think
we
they're
don't know
friends
that-
of anybody.
We don't know if the Bark Hobos were
We don't know
friendly
they
with this
weren't.
town.
I don't know. I say let's let Theo walk in and see what
Go ahead,
happens.
Theo.
It worked so well for him last
I'm
time.
really getting sick of being the guinea pig.
Hey man, you did it yourself last time.
Yeah,
We
man.
still have the fish? We still have the fish, right?
You still have the fish.
Here, take the fish.
And what? I'm gonna trade a fish and a piece of fruit?
Offer it for your own health and well-being.
Fine. You know what? Give me the damn fish.
Here, have the fish.
Okay, I'm gonna take the fish. I've got the fruit.
As he's walking, he gets
Don't
attacked
offer
by
them the fruit.
Look, if it's the fruit or my life.
Fruit could give somebody some health. Addie's still pretty banged up, and you're gonna give them this fruit?
If their other choice is a dagger through my junk, yes.
Give me the fruit to hold on to. I'll give it back, and I
Ow.
give you 3 apples. I have 3 apples.
I don't know what kind of stories you read, but they're pretty fucked up, man. If that's what you think happens. They go, child! Stabbed in the junk.
Quickly stab his genitals. Stop him.
Look, it's like Grimm's fairy tales, only worse, because this is a kill murder world.
Find out what you can. So give me the not what we want them to have apple.
Yeah, but I'm taking that back when I get
Absolutely.
Fine.
We just don't want to give it to them.
You come back and we're eating it.
back. If you eat friend's apple, I will go aggro on this entire.
Sounds so weird out of context.
So, on one hand, this fish, you have to kind of sling it over your shoulder and hold it by its tail. And the other, you're cradling up to 6 apples in your arm.
Leaving him defenseless against attack.
Absolutely defenses against attack as you begin the mile walk into town.
Do it.
Hey, use a reaction to slap somebody with that
I'm going to
fish.
channelize
Yeah,
it.
the-
Let's
yeah.
make mistakes.
The first option is here, catch.
You're a good distance away. You're walking through these. You're walking through this taller grass, and you get the idea as these hills kind of roll into higher and lower. That there's a good amount of time where you are obscured from their vision. You eventually come to like that 3/4 where it's just wide open land. It's just flat trimmed grass to the outside of town, and you do see the people in town, and you see there's a very strange collection of people. There really doesn't look to be any predominant race, as it just seems to be grab bag of races. Now, quarter mile out, you see people looking. Someone looking walks away. You see they seem to run off in a direction. You're smart enough to know that if this is a bandit town, You don't know how this reception's going to be. If it is just a regular town, there are bandits around. So what you do now is going to really reflect how you are viewed.
Eat you both.
This is like watching Friend or Foe. That game. Are we enemies?
Do you walk into town with your items of tribute, or do you immediately turn back your friends?
I like pull myself into a strong,
Okay.
yet non-threatening, but like they don't know yet, but I would have been taught.
Right.
So I make myself as tall as possible, but as non-threatening as possible. I fix my posture. I make sure they can see the fruit in one arm clearly and the fish in the other clearly, and at an even pace, I walk forward into town.
Take a weapon!
You can fully observe that there are about 3 patchwork armor. You see this armor is put together, and what you can identify is a uniform. And as you come walking towards them, they come walking towards you. There's 3 of them. They're well armored.
Okay. I do stop, and I wait for them to come forward, but I show, in my body language, deference.
Roll just a general charisma.
It's a 9. Wait one sec, you know what?
Use one of those hero dice.
15.
Okay. As you go walking forward with this, you just try and look as regal, as non-threatening as possible. And when you feel you've pushed that vibe out, their spears just drop down offensively, and you just shake and you just quickly relax, reset yourself, and channel what you have learned. And you feel like a shift in your face. And when they see this, they look confused at each other and they raise their spears. Approaches and says, "Are you just walking around with fish and fruit?"
I've been on the road for many days now, my friends and I. I saw a settlement, and I was hoping one of you would be kind enough to trade for this fish and fruit for maybe a couple hours of rest from the wild.
Of course. I'm going to guess that you have had a pretty tough 1 or 2 days.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome to Adella's Rest.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Peril Party, another 5th edition podcast. Today you heard Megan as Zale, Katie as Addie, and Connor as Theodoric. I'd like to thank the talented artists over at AmbientMixer.com for lending us their work. Check the descriptions for details. And a special thanks to Megan for making our amazing themes. Check out the rest of our wonderful work here on the Quips and Crits Network.